Session 74, Surah Fatiha, the Qur'an summarized. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We begin with the name of Allah, who is most gracious and merciful. Nahmaduhu nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, and begin with blessings on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the last and final prophet. We are on Surah Fatiha, and in Surah Fatiha verse 5, that is, Ihdina siratal mustaqim, show us, put us on the right path, O Allah. Man uses his sense in every field of life. Why should he refrain from using it to select the right path? I repeat, man uses his sense in every field of life. Why should he refrain from using it to select the right path? Adolf Hitler was a Catholic and Stalin Orthodox Christian. Even otherwise, the conduct of the majority of the Christians won't help understand the Bible or Christianity. So it is with the Muslims. Feudalism, illiteracy, poverty, cultural taboos don't demonstrate Islam. Rather, these are great stumbling blocks in the way of Allah's religion. However, Quran mentions of the people who have been stamped by Allah vis-a-vis the Prophet and his die-hard thousands of companions. They are the ones to be followed, emulated, hook, line, and sinker. The Muslims of the present era know as much about Quran as the Christians about Bible. The Muslims of the present era know as much about Quran as the Christians about Bible. They were simply born in Muslims' homes, need conversion too. Making struggle for affluence, comforts, luxuries, the purpose of one's life cannot be derived from Quran and Sunnah, nor is Taoism magic evidenced in the life of the Prophet and his companions, barring one or two in the later part of their lives. Life of simplicity was the cornerstone of the life of the Prophet and his companions, but there was no resignation to fate or a spirit of non-interference with the natural courses of events. If there is a man who is to be quoted as an ideal, an example, a superordinate model of struggle to achieve the objectives of life, to fulfill its purpose, there is certainly none better than the Prophet, peace be upon him, whose every day, every hour, every moment in life was a constant effort and unrelenting and unending struggle. An unrelenting and unending struggle. My apologies. Struggle is by far the greatest, the most important, vital, indispensable, and unignorable lesson from the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Neither Taoism, magic, Sufism, nor materialism is Sunnah. Islam, being a code, a way of life in totality, promulgates a principle and moral value oriented, broad based economic system. Quran and Sunnah lay down a structural framework, leaving the rest to the man to follow, change, evolve, improve over the passage of centuries as per the compulsions, necessities of time till the doomsday. The ignoramus, illiterate in economics, may feel snarled, confused in the present day milieu, hugamaga of economic activity based on most innovative ways of extracting money from the unaware, petrified masses, coined by the modern day bloodsuckers. Coined by the modern day bloodsuckers. The Quran, the Quran's injunctions in this field are absolutely plausible, explicit, non-compromising, non-negotiable, and laudable, which thwart the pervading evil designs of the money hounds, exploiters of humanity, who aim to live a life of joy de vivre at the expense of the mankind, for Allah knows His people whom He has created. The direction, purpose, and the modalities of economic activities matter, for those are linked and should be linked to a value system. There is no room, leverage, latitude in Quran to allow the man to serve both God and the mammon. There is no room in Quran to allow the man to serve both the God and the mammon. Man isn't permitted to walk with the devil to cross over the bridge. Man isn't permitted to walk with the devil to cross over the bridge. Whereas there are many economic activities in capitalism, laissez-faire economics, and also the now redundant socialism, communism, which are not repugnant to Quran in totality, yet the injunctions of Quran on economic activities, dealings, and distribution of wealth cannot be fitted into any of these systems to make a melange, a mixture, and call it Islamic economic system. The basic starting point of any Western economic system is not congruent with Quran and Sunnah. The basic starting point of any Western economic system is not congruent with Quran and Sunnah. The former defines that the economic system is based on the assumption that all beings are rational, and rational being is described as the one who maximizes his own interest in economic undertaking activity. Thus, interest, hoarding, monopoly, neck-breaking profiteering, capturing of markets by all means, fair and foul, are in fact almost the rules under which the economic battle is fought. Whereas an intelligent, sane, and rational man, according to Quran, is the one who endeavors to earn the pleasure of Allah in all his economic, political, and social activities, in all his dealings and undertakings, and doesn't for a minute allow material gains to ebb out his fear of Allah, and doesn't for a minute allow material gains to ebb out his fear of Allah. 4 Surah Nisa verse 175. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَاعْتَصَمُوا بِهِ فَسَيُدْخِلُهُمْ فِي رَحْمَةٍ مِّنْهُ وَفَضْلٍ وَيَهْدِيهِمْ إِلَيْهِ صِرَاطًا مُسْتَقِيمًا. Translation: So those who believe in Allah and then stick to it firmly through their deeds, so Allah will enfold them in His rahmah, blessings and bounties, and take them to His own straight path. 11 Surah Hud, verse 84. Kala ya qawmi bidullah wa malakum min ilahin ghayru wa la tankusul al-mikyalu wal mizana inni arakum bi khairin bi inni akhafu alaykum azaba yawmin muhit. Translation: O my people, obey, worship, be subservient to Allah, and you have no God but Him, and don't fiddle with measures and scales. Although I see you affluent today because of dishonest, immoral, illegal means, I fear you will be pulverized, punished on an overwhelming, overpowering day, the day of justice. 4 Surah An-Nisa verses 29-30, go through the translation only. O you who believe, don't partake any one another's property, money, material resources unfairly, except what you earn in mutual trade, bargaining voluntarily. And don't kill each other. Definitely Allah is exceedingly merciful, shall give you without you exploiting, killing each other. And whoever indulges in these things with animosity and excesses, so we'll put him in the fire of hell, and this is quite easy for Allah. Capitalism, the economic structure prevailing in almost the entire world today, is structured, based, run, and geared on banking and insurance, interest, riba, usury. That is, the strategy for enhancement of money and property and security from losses. However, the Quran states otherwise in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 275. You should go through the translation. Those who take riba, interest, wouldn't be raised on the doomsday, but as one who has been made loony, mad by the devil, enfolding, gripping him. They would be in this miserable lunatic plight because they believed business dealings are also like taking riba, interest. That is, there's no difference. Taking interest is also a form of business trading. Whereas Allah has declared business as legal, in order, and declared interest as haram, forbidden. Then he who accepts this instruction order from his Rabb, and he refrains what is with him, is left to him, and his case is with Allah to decide. And he who takes riba, interest, thereafter, so they are the dwellers of hell, they'll stay in it forever and ever. And I repeat, and he who takes riba, interest, thereafter, so they are the dwellers of hell, they'll stay in it forever and ever. 2 Surah Baqarah, verse 279. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا فَآذُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَإِن تُبْتُمْ فَلَكُمْ رُءُوسُ أَمْوَالِكُمْ تَظْلِمُونَ وَلَا تَظْلَمُونَ. Translation: and then, if you don't give up riba, usury, interest, then you have initiated a war that you can never win. Get prepared to fight Allah and His Prophet. And if you don't demur, show objection, and are repentant, and seek Allah's forgiveness, so the original amount that you lent is for you. You can have it back. Neither should you commit excess on anyone, nor anyone on you. 30 Surah Ar-Rum, verse 39. وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن رِبًا يَرْبُو فِي أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ وَلَا يَرْبُو عِندَ اللَّهِ وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن زَكَاةٍ تُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُضْعِفُونَ. Translation: and if you want to flourish, succeed, assist those who are endeavoring in the way of Allah. It will also enhance all the blessings that you have. And don't be a gala, a fool, for the deals that you make with any type of interest. To enhance your wealth, properties doesn't actually increase with Allah. Whereas whatever you give in zakah, compulsory charity, in the way of Allah, and otherwise over and above to earn the pleasure of Allah, such are the people who, in the ordinary way, skim over all difficulties, do others and themselves a great power of good, and the ones who agglomerate add immensely to their wealth here and the hereafter. Explanation of this verse: apart from its exploitative role at the individual, national, and international levels, many great economists have today backtracked, reversed the opinion about the necessity of interest, and have considered it the root of the most of the ills in our economies, like fluctuations, inflations, deflations, unpredictability, etc. However, man doesn't think of capitalism without banking system and running national economies without banks. He has therefore elected to live in endemic perpetual misery because of the system he has himself created. Mankind has subjected itself to a yoke of its own choking, which is also considered indispensable. I repeat, he has therefore elected to live in endemic perpetual misery because of the system he has himself created. Mankind has subjected itself to a yoke of its own choking, which is also considered indispensable. Marxism, socialism, communism all failed to ameliorate the misery of the mankind. Though the bulk of the mankind remains ill-disposed, adhering to divine guidance, the Quran with exactitude is indispensable. The Quran does not ask the man to eliminate classes, but the exploitation of other human beings, people, and societies, and narrowing the gap through various measures. Elimination of interest, circulation of capital, for example, through zakah and voluntary alms, prevention of monopoly and hoarding, and unlimited profiteering, misuse, abuse of property, avoidance of unnecessary spending, adherence to the law of inheritance, fulfillment of necessary obligations towards relatives, neighbors, orphans, poor, needy, downtrodden, and a righteous attitude towards fellow beings are necessary obligations. 86 Surah At-Tariq, verse 13, Innahu laqawlul fasl. Innahu laqawlul fasl. Translation: definitely the word of Allah is absolute, the last, final, decisive in establishing the right and wrong till the doomsday. I repeat, definitely this word of Allah is absolute, the last, final, decisive in establishing the right and wrong till the doomsday. It delineates, divides the right and wrong without any twists or winding explanations or elaborations for the justification of odd, clumsy concepts without leaving the slightest ambiguity. Establishes, lays down, demarcates the value system for the mankind till the doomsday, leaving no loopholes at all. The good and the evil never reinforce, always substitute each other. I repeat, the good and the evil never reinforce, always substitute each other. Monotheism and secularism are each other's antitheses, opposites. Monotheism and secularism are each other's opposites and antitheses. The injunctions, directions of Quran can't be used to serve the ideals, purposes, modes, and systems structured on secularism, which is devoid of the concept of the hereafter. I repeat, the injunctions, directions of Quran can't be used to serve the ideals, purposes, modes, and systems structured on secularism, which is devoid of the concept of the hereafter. Secularism has been defined by Encyclopedia Britannica, Cambridge Encyclopedia Britannica, 1951, as a doctrine. The essence of secularism is that morality should be based solely on regard to the well-being of mankind in the present life, to the exclusion of all considerations drawn from belief in God or in a future state. All systems founded on secular principles would crumble, collapse, if the directions of Quran are introduced in them. But the disbelievers, the numbskulls say the word of Allah is outdated, it can't work in the modern times. They want the book to be set aside from public life. It can't be set aside, for that's the law, code under which they'll be tried, they'll be pulverized. Just wait a little, be patient, persevere, and remember Allah, for the remembrance of Allah helps in perseverance. The remembrance of Allah helps in perseverance. The attributes of Rabb, the Creator, are the source of all strength and power, originating from the one great, ever-existing, mighty source in which all strength is embodied. Recitation of each attribute of Allah strengthens that particular aspect, quality. I repeat, recitation of each attribute of Allah strengthens that particular aspect, quality. He is the one who created the man and then made him organically strong, balanced according to his requirements, role, and the environment of existence. Not leaving him in shambles, Allah structured, shaped man to give him all necessary capabilities to exist in the designed environment and fulfill the aim, the purpose of his creation, and then guided him, educated him as to what that aim, purpose was, and the method, the way, the path to achieve it. Apart from arranging nourishment for the man, raised fodder for your domestic animals, and then causes it to decay. So has man to bloom to his acme of strength, and then grow old, enfeebled, vegetate, and die off. I repeat, and so has man to bloom to his acme of strength, and then grow old, enfeebled, vegetate, and die off. That's all for today. Jazakallah. Please pray for me, ex-Brigadier Mustansar Billah.